On behalf of the Quinnipiac Chamber of Commerce, welcome to the 2026 North Haven State of the Town Address. We're truly honored for all of you to be here with us this morning. A special thank you to Quinnipiac University for hosting us once again in their beautiful space. It's always a privilege to partner with an institution that plays such an important role in shaping the future of our region. It's wonderful to see so many business leaders, elected officials, first responders, educators, and community leaders here today. Your presence reflects what makes North Haven so strong: collaboration, commitment, and community pride. The Quinnipiac Chamber remains deeply supported in the North Haven and Wallingford region. We advocate for our members, champion economic growth, and stand behind our businesses at every stage, whether they're opening their doors or expanding their footprints. North Haven continues to serve as a model community in the state of Connecticut. Its strong infrastructure, thriving business sectors, and steady growth speaks volumes about the leadership and the vision guided for this town. This past year alone, the Chamber proudly welcomed nearly 30 new members within the North Haven community. There's nothing more energizing than celebrating a ribbon cutting for a business. Seeing those memorable moments just really hits your heart. I think of one of Groundworks that happened here in North Haven recently over this past year. They had individuals from across the entire United States to come and help celebrate this beautiful new expansion in North Haven. Moments like this remind us that North Haven is a destination of opportunity. As you consider services and resources that you may need for your business and families, please consider shopping local and check out our chamber members to ensure the fact that we're helping them. Because if we invest in one another, our communities truly thrive. It's now my pleasure to invite Jeff D'Onofrio, the partner at Ciola and D'Onofrio LLP, as one of our presenting sponsors to share some morning remarks. Jeff.
Thanks so much. Good morning. When I was driving here this morning, it occurs to me this is our 30th year here in North Haven, and I had no idea. I was 31 years old when we started the firm, and I had no idea what kind of a place North Haven really was. We had lived here, we had a small child, we were focused on him, but North Haven's been so great for our business. I mean, really, if you're gonna have a business in Connecticut, it's the perfect location, first of all, because we're on Washington Avenue. We're, seconds, the way I drive, from 91 and a few minutes from 15. So I represent 19 towns across Connecticut and over 100 businesses that our firm represents. And we can get anywhere very quickly, and they can get to us very quickly. So it's been a great location. But it's been so much more than that. North Haven's been so supportive. And we've been sponsoring this, back at Fantasia, Best Western, however many years it's been. So I'm trying to think of something I could say about Mike that I haven't said already. And I thought, when you really think about Mike and you get to know Mike, you realize that Mike is very unique, not because he's a nonpartisan politician and not because of his business acumen, but just who he is as a person. And the best thing about Mike is a stoic. If you go back and you read about Marcus Aurelius or Seneca or Epictetus, this is my Boston College liberal arts education spilling over here, you realize that Mike's brain doesn't work like most other folks' brains work. Mike is focused on helping people. He generally cares. And when you're a business owner, that's almost unheard of, because usually in most towns, it's, what can you do to help me? Mike doesn't think that way. Mike is only interested whether you're a one-person business, whether you're Amazon, whether you're new, whether you've been here 100 years, whether you're a resident that had a mailbox knocked down by a plow. Mike generally cares about every single person that he comes into contact with. And you don't find people like that in business, and you don't find people like that in politics. And that's really what has brought North Haven over the last 16 years to a whole nother level. It's always been a great place to do business, but under Mike's leadership, his team has shared in his values and shares in his empathy and his compassion and his dedication to the community. And that really is what makes North Haven such a great place to do business. Thank you.
Jeff, I couldn't agree with you more on your sentiments about Mike. I always say the fact that if I can duplicate him in every single town, I would, because Mike's just so passionate about the community that he serves and definitely goes above and beyond. I don't know if anybody sees the Facebook posts that go on there. If they tag Mike, he responds. And at all hours of the day, I've seen responses from him. I don't know any other first selectman or mayor that would possibly go ahead and do that and have that commitment for the community. It just speaks volumes about Mike. Thank you so much. I also would like to thank North Haven Funeral Home as our co-sponsor. Unfortunately, we're not able to be here with us today, but they have continued to support this event and this community on so many different occasions, and we appreciate the Haven's support year over year. At this time, I'd like to invite Karen Del Vecchio of Pat Munger Construction, our QCC Board Vice Chair, to say a few words on behalf of our Government Affairs Committee. Karen?
Thank you, Renee, and ditto to everything they've said about Mike. Looking forward to hearing your remarks. Yes, my name's Karen Del Vecchio. I'm the Relationship Manager at Pat Munger Construction. We're a commercial and industrial general contractor located in Branford. We work all over the state and Western Rhode Island, and we have a lot of great customers right here in North Haven. A really large manufacturer that I really can't name, but we have done work with Executive Auto Group and F&F Concrete, and the list goes on, and one I know that's top of mind from Mike is we're doing the renovations at Town Hall, which we're really proud to be associated with that project. But I'm here today to talk about the work of the Government Affairs Committee, and for me, events like this where you can hear from your elected officials and the work that's done behind the scenes on advocacy is really one of those benefits of membership that is so important but often goes unnoticed. So as Renee said, I'm the co-chair of the New Haven Chamber Government Affairs Committee. I represent the Quinnipiac Chamber on that, and that obviously is doing work on behalf of all the towns in the region. And so I want to share a few of the accomplishments from last year, and now we're embarking on this year's legislative session, so looking forward to talking about that through the year. So in 2025, we worked to overturn a ruling that could have raised workers' compensation costs by 265%. We supported increased funding and tax credits for family child care providers. We promoted programs to help first-time home buyers and attract young professionals. We advocated for incentives to strengthen Connecticut's bioscience sector and push for updated apprenticeship ratios to address labor shortages. The work of the Government Affairs Committee is done under the direction of the New Haven Chamber's Director of Public Policy, Victoria Verderame. We meet virtually on the second Thursday of every month, and if you are interested in learning more or interested in joining us, we'd love to have you. You can get in touch with me or get in touch with Victoria through Renee. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and looking forward to hearing from you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gary Coleglio. I'm the Vice President of Sales at both Quinnipiac and the Greater New Haven Chamber. Thank you for coming out today. Great turnout. I'm here to really thank our sponsors, and obviously, as we put on these events throughout the year at both chambers, we couldn't do that without the support of our sponsors. So, our presenting sponsor, Ciula and D'Onofrio, Jeff, couldn't agree with you more. Great words about Mike. I know that I've been here 11 years, and the collaboration that we get with North Haven Town Hall is just amazing. What we have with Mike Frieda and how we work together, to work with businesses and to bring them in to the chamber. Also, as Renee mentioned, North Haven Funeral Home. The Havens family has been part of this event for many, many, many years, and we're delighted that we have their support. Everyone knows Chris Olbrich. He's our major sponsor today in Olbrich Stainless Steels and Specialty Metals. What he does for North Haven and Wallingford is immense. And Quinnipiac University, thank you for hosting today. We're delighted that you're with us. Just great that we can use this facility. What an outstanding place here at the campus. Our next event sponsors. I know Steve Longobardi, I ran into him with Candid Group. Again, been a sponsor of this event for many, many years. Thank you, Steve. Where are you? There you are. Thank you. Appreciate the help. Camco Supply Corporation of New England and Sims Metal of North Haven. Sims, Mike Kiwanis is here. Thank you for your support throughout the year in this event and many other events as we go. I'd like to, again, acknowledge our corporate sponsors, and you can see them on the screen and in your program, but we'll start with our premier partner, Olbrich Stainless Steels and Specialty Metals. our star supporters, Area Cooperative Educational Services, ACES, Inframetals of Wallingford, ROM America of Wallingford, Nucor Wire Products on Tully's Road in Wallingford, and our new star supporter, they're here today, Milestone Construction, Frank Ferriola, the owner, operator, and Mike Iavini are with us. Thank you for your support. We appreciate it. Our corporate sponsors, which you saw on the slides and in your program, we could not do it without their support. Our business partners, and we do have a new business partner in North Haven. And First Selectman Frida, myself, and Matt Iavani were there. We had their food. It's Bubba Coos Burritos on Universal Drive. Take a shot, go out there, you'll enjoy the food. But they are a new business partner with the Quinnipiac Chamber of Commerce. Let's give everybody a round of applause. Thank you. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Renee.
Thank you, Gary, and thank you to all of our great business partners, because we wouldn't be able to be doing the work that we do if it weren't for the partners that are here inside this room and so many of our members. It's now my distinct pleasure to introduce the newly appointed 10th president, Quinnipiac University, Dr. Marie Hardin. Dr. Hardin brings an immense record of leadership in higher education and a deep commitment to academic success, innovation, and community engagement. Since stepping into this role, she's demonstrated a clear vision for the future of Quinnipiac University, one that embraces growth, embraces the idea of a strong partnership within the communities that we serve, and preparing these students for the ever-evolving, changing world that we live in each and every single day. Quinnipiac University plays a pivotal role in the economic and cultural fabric of this region. The impact on this institution extends far beyond just the campus that's in the footprint of here in Hamden. It's shaping industries, it's developing talent, and contributing to meaningful communities like North Haven. We're grateful for the partnership between Quinnipiac University and the business community, and we look forward to the continued collaboration with Dr. Hardin's leadership. Please welcome Dr. Hardin to the stage.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I am so excited and grateful to be here, and I want to thank Renee for her delightful comments about the university and about this location. And I also want to thank Gary, Jeff, and Karen, and the Greater New Haven and Quinnipiac Chambers. So welcome to this beautiful facility that I've been getting to know. I'll tell you, I get lost every time I come in here. But it's a phenomenal facility that, if you don't know, houses 5 professional schools for Quinnipiac: education, law, health sciences, nursing, and our Netter School of Medicine. And I see some deans with us today, and I'm so grateful for that. You know, you've spent time in this auditorium and in the space around the auditorium. You may not know about our beautiful law library. If you haven't been in there, it's inspiring. I feel smarter every time I walk in there. And there, our Netter Medical School library also, but we have labs and simulation environments. We have a mock courtroom. We have a mock courtroom. If you haven't seen it, that's also worth seeing. Our classrooms. Buy something at the bookstore. Visit our dining commons. This is really a terrific space. And if you get up early, come on over for our Bobcat Stride. That happens at 7 a.m. We have a group of folks who get their exercise inside this building every morning, rain or shine or snowstorm. They can come here and get their exercise. So this is truly a wonderful environment. I also want to tell you that we know and we understand this, and we're committed to this, and that is the idea that the impact of higher education starts at home. It starts in our community. And we are committed to that idea. And that also, there's a lot that happens right here in this building and with the schools housed in this building, the law school clinics that we offer. It's that time of year, folks. We're thinking about our taxes, right? Our law school offering those clinics. Our EQUIP program that provides physical therapy and many other services to the community, using our students, obviously involved with our faculty, and our School of Education and the way that it sends out student teachers throughout the community. I could talk about a lot more, but what I want to do now is make that connection to the community. You know, to get any of these things done, you have to have a friend willing to open doors for you, to advocate, and to connect. And I will tell you that for us, a tremendous friend has been Mike Frieda. He was one of the very first ones to literally come to my office and extend his hand in friendship, and that meant a great deal to me. I also hear about him often when I go out into the community and I talk to the more than 1,000 alumni who live in North Haven, or to the more than 200 employees, Quinnipiac employees who live in North Haven. Now, I don't need to tell you this, but I will anyway. Longest serving first selectman in a century here. President of the Council of Small Towns here in Connecticut. Former president of the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities. He is so well respected, and we all know why. He's an example of humility. He's an example of wisdom. He's an example of service and resilience. And he is a tremendous listener, and that's one of his greatest superpowers. But this morning, we get a chance to listen to him. Please help me welcome Mike Frieda.
I was just telling Marie, I'm going to start crying here. Thank you very much. I don't think I'm that good, but I appreciate the comments. Thank you very much. Well, I'd like to start by thanking everyone for coming. I'd like to thank Marie, Quinnipiac University, Renee, the Chamber of Commerce. Both institutions have been great partners for us here in North Haven. I've been very fortunate. Marie's now my third president I've been working with. And Quinnipiac University, working with Bethany here all these years, I know that they know that I have their backs. And sometimes things are difficult in government, but it's been a great partnership. And I'll take a page out of my corporate playbook when I used to profile new businesses coming in my company. We'd have presentations like this, and I'd always, and today, I always say that having Quinnipiac University and Yale Hospital, eds and meds, are driving forces and driving factors to stimulate and perpetuate economic growth. I'm very appreciative, Marie, and I'm really enjoying working with you. And Bethany, thank you for all your support down through the years. I'd like to give a shout out to all of our town department heads and employees. Let's give them a nice round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. This group here, who's here today, they're the ones that make it go. As everyone knows, you know, I've been captain of all my baseball teams down through the years. You have to have a great team, and I have a great team, and I'm very appreciative of each and every one of them. Thank you very much. So today, I'd like to, over the next half hour or so, I'd like to profile the town and depict it as a story in 4 different parts. Part 1, I'll give you a quick overview on the economic, fiscal health of our town. I'd like to get into the importance of infrastructure and what we're doing regarding infrastructure improvements. And Quinnipiac University has been a large part of that in terms of the voluntary payments that the university has given the town to help us improve various aspects of our infrastructure. I'll get onto that in a moment. I'd like to give you an update on housing trends, because you probably saw me at press conferences across the state. There's a big thing about housing in Connecticut. I'd like to give you some statistical information and share with you what we're doing on the housing side. And then get into the economic development of the town, working closely with the chamber and some of the highlights of new businesses. And by the way, I see our state representative Dave Yaccarino there. 87th District, let's give him a nice round of applause right there. A great ally and a great partner for me, Dave Yaccarino. We work very closely together. Thank you, David. Let's take a look at a little bit about the town's finances. I'm not going to dwell on this, but I want to give you some highlights. So when we look at the town's fiscal health, we still retain a very strong bond rating. And that's important. Bonding in government is borrowing to improve the town. So we're still able to borrow money at low interest rates. And that is a reflection of our relationship with the rating agencies, specifically S&P 500, that I have to go before the rating agencies once a year, twice a year. So we're very strong in that respect. And the rating agencies have told us that we, and this isn't the case with municipalities across the country, that we have a highly favorable outlook for the future in sometimes what may be uncertain times. When we look at economic development, we're going to get into that momentarily, we look at grand list. The grand list is so important to municipalities. To give you an analogy, for universities, you want a higher enrollment to come in. For companies, you want to grow your top line revenue to help reinvest back into your corporations. No different than what I did when I was CEO of my companies. But in government, it's the grand list growth. So this year, we filed at the state level the end of January, which was a couple of weeks ago, and we ended up with a 2.7% grand list growth, which is very strong in local government. Many municipalities are experiencing 0 or a 0.5% grand list growth. We ended up at 2.7%, and that yields $3,330,000 in incremental revenue for the town, which is a positive. We're faced with, like all of us as municipalities, how to control taxes. And the spending and the needs of the various cities and towns, and North Haven is no different. We have to try to figure this out to continue to minimize the tax burden for citizens all over the state, including North Haven. When we look at infrastructure, I mentioned the importance of Quinnipiac University for what they've done for us. And it's not just presently, it's in the past. The university has underwritten dollars to improve all the playscapes at schools throughout North Haven, including one at Ridge Road that is a handicapped accessible for reading impaired children. Quinnipiac underwrote that. The university provided funding to build a training center at Northeast Fire Department. It was huge for our town, huge for our firefighters to have a training facility there rather than go into another municipality. I can go on, and you're going to hear momentarily some of the things we're doing regarding that. Road paving is always critical. We had to pare that back a little bit. So we're in a fiscal year now, not necessarily a calendar year. So it's about 5 miles worth of roadways from the fall and into the spring. Cost of road paving has gone from $200,000 a mile, paving and milling, to $300,000 a mile. Everything in government is going up, much like everyone in their homes and some of the things that they're dealing with. So road paving is still a very important part of this. Infrastructure, Sackett Point Road is an example. Sackett Point Road is so critical, it connects State Street with Universal Drive. So we've had a lot of problems there, and that's a story in 3 parts within this 4-part story. So the Sackett Point Road Bridge, that was a $13 million project that we had finalized. Thank you to Andy Bevilacqua, our town engineer who's here. Thank you, Andy, for all the guidance you gave us in working with the contractors. So that was something that the town had to fund 10% of the $13 million. The rest was with the federal government and with the state of Connecticut. So we improved that bridge, which had a low rating from a weight load standpoint. The top of the deck was rated 2 out of 10, and the bottom was an 8 out of 10, I think it was back then. We had to watch it carefully, but that's the new bridge there. We've got a problem over there at the Universal Drive. It's 12.9 inches, that overpass, right? The average tractor trailer is 13.4 inches, 13 feet, 0.4 inches. So unfortunately, we still have people going through at 13.4 inches and that 12.9 inch, even though it's clearly depicted. And guess what? We still have trucks getting stuck over there. So we're working with the DOT to try to have greater signage and illumination there to stop that, because that Universal Drive intersection is critically important. We can't have trucks and traffic tied up there for hours, so we're looking to help that and mitigate that problem. Drainage. Now, if you go down Sackett Point Road, you start on State Street, and you go down just past the railroad tracks, before we even get to Universal Drive, significant draining issues over there. We have businesses that are flooded, and now we've got some funding from the state to try to help that, and that's something that we're working on for this coming year. When we look at what's been completed, well, I hope you agree that a town, its reputation, is only as good as the way it looks for the people that live there and for the people that travel through there. About 3 years ago, and many of you know that I'm a sports guy, so I kind of was embarrassed when I was walking into a high school baseball tournament game, and some people said to me, "Hey, Mr. Frieda, can we speak with you? We know you were in 3 different baseball Hall of Fames, but look at these fields. Look at we get people from Madison and Guilford coming in, and it just doesn't look good." Boom! Right from that point, I was on an implacable mission to get things done. And we now have improved, working with the Board of Education, the high school softball field, the high school baseball field, the grounds, but we're not through. We have other improvements to make, and that's being done through bonding. McDermott Road, that's off of Quinnipiac Avenue. That's an artery, a roadway that leads into Medtronics, the second largest company in town, 3,000 employees. Potholes, drainage issues, we straightened that out. We paved that. We put crosswalks in there for their employees because the parking garage is on one side, the building's on the other, so that's another significant improvement. When we look at our Water Pollution Control Authority, consider this. 70% of the town is on sanitary sewers. 30% is on those other things, okay? So septic tanks as an example. So with 70% of the people, what goes on, visualize an image in your mind, piping underneath the roadways, a water pollution control authority that all of the water comes into play, toilet flushing, whether it's showers, bath, okay? Things that get thrown in, like into toilets, believe it or not, things that shouldn't be thrown in there. It clogs up the system. And the worst thing that could happen is a pipe bursting underground, sewage backups. So Andy, I mentioned Andy, our engineer, working with our Director of Finance, Rich, working with the WPCA and myself. We are looking to really ensure we have a proactive approach on improving the infrastructure, which is probably 60 years old at the WPCA. And one of the things is the sanitary sewer pipelining. That's very important to protect any bursts underneath the ground. Town buildings, these are some of the buildings right here that you see. You see the library, the town hall, the recreation center, the Historical Society, and the Martha Culver House. These are very important buildings, and important buildings for public access. We have to have good buildings that are solid and look good. So some of the things we've done on the infrastructure side, we put a new pool roof in. The Walter Gorich, God rest his soul, one of my idols and political idols. He served for 14 years, United States Marine, fought in Iwo Jima. I was very close with him when I took office. He's no longer with us, but that pool roof there was a problem. We had screws falling from the roof, which were structural deficiencies. So we've worked on that. We've put a new roof on. We improved the structural problems there. We've made those repairs. At the library, we painted the roof, which was all worn out. The optics of that we weren't happy with because it didn't look good. And Quinnipiac came into us with a voluntary payment on town hall renovations, HVAC system upgrades. We had ADA bathrooms that were put in there, and we're still working on some of the things this fiscal year, the second half. based on the money that Quinnipiac University gave us on the voluntary pilot program. So these are areas that, through various grants, through bonding, and through the Quinnipiac Voluntary Contribution Program, we're able to improve the town. Pending construction projects that we have. The DeMayo Field, Bob DeMayo, God rest his soul, the coach, we're trying to upgrade that through a DEEP grant, and you'll see significant improvements there. Kings Highway, this is near Quinnipiac University, at the corner of Mount Carmel. We had, that bridge collapsed twice. So now we are really now putting a full court press on getting that, and that's going to be a DOT local bridge program. It's safe right now because we corrected it twice, but we know the future is such that we have to really fortify that bridge. Pool Road, not too far from here, in the 520 block to about 555, in that area, there's significant drainage problems there. So we're looking to improve that, and that's going to be through a state-type grant, and that will stop the flooding in this area on those torrential rainstorms. And we're also looking to improve the center block district, Church Street, with safety improvements, handicap accessible ramps, sidewalks, and we're working on that, and that's going to be a major improvement this coming 12 to 16 to 24 months. A lot of times if you're driving, you may not realize there's something called traffic signal loop detectors. And what that is, they're electromagnetic sensors that are in the pavement. So when you drive over, the traffic will stimulate when the next light should change to facilitate the flow of traffic back and forth. So we're looking to improve those. Those have been very old here in town, and the police department are really working very closely with us on that, and that'll be a paving bond. We're going to handle that through bonding. Elm Street sidewalk improvements, that's Elm Street around the corner from Town Hall. The sidewalks there are scattered. The sidewalks there are inconsistent, and they're wavy. So we're looking to straighten that out to improve public safety. I mentioned Martha Culver House. We're renovating that. It'll be a museum for young children that can go on field trips there. It's one of the old buildings in town, and we're really working on restoring that. I talked about the Water Pollution Control Authority, more improvements there. We have to fortify that, and the Historical Society, the exterior portico that we're improving, and that is through the generosity of, once again, Quinnipiac University for all they're doing for the town. So thank you very much for that again. Let's take a look now at one of the hottest topics across the state, housing trends. Well, in North Haven, we have approximately 9,627 households. There are also approximately 38 active homes listing on the market, that are listed on the market. The median sale price on these homes in January of 2026 is now up to $530,000. Either fortunately or unfortunately. We can look at this one of two ways, okay? Property values went up 39.5% in North Haven. There were bidding wars in the streets. People, if there was a house listed, people were buying it more, 10, 20, 25% more. I think we're now at like 99% of asking price. I'll get to that in a moment. But we're now up to $530,000 in the average house, median sales house. The average number of days on the market, 23. 23 days, they go. And many times it's sooner than 23 days. I mentioned the 38 active listings, I should say, and the homes typically sell for now at 99% of list price. And that is a combination of foreclosures. Sometimes it brings it down a little bit. Houses that are being purchased to flip. But a residential home that goes up for sale, for the most part, it sells more than the asking price, like I mentioned. So we apparently are a very desirable community, and I think that's very important for everyone to know. The competitive market in January, which is last month, it has been and it is a seller's market. Indicates that there are more people looking to buy than there are available homes, and that's part of the reason why the asking prices are higher. This housing bill, you see me in the background there, and this was a bipartisan approach. It was very controversial, but I got involved with this when the governor called and asked me if I would sit on this board of these bipartisan mayors. It's been controversial, but for North Haven, what does it mean? We're not going to lose local control. Planning and zoning is still going to be involved. And we're not going to be forced with a mandate of 500 more affordable homes that we have to build. We've done our fair share here in terms of what we've done on housing. And now, we still have this issue that's all over the state on the affordability. So as of this month, the average rent in North Haven is about $1,809 per month. When we look, or when it's looked to rent an apartment in North Haven, you can expect to pay about $1,655 a month for a studio, believe it or not. About $1,800 for a one-bedroom apartment, and about $2,528 for a two-bedroom apartment. So there's a demand. There's a demand. So what have we tried to do about this, okay? Well, let's take a look at the recent apartment developments in town that we have worked with various developers. This is about 11 years old. This was like the first one, the Flats at 520 Washington Avenue. This is a project that we worked on in the last 5 years. This is the Archway. There's 225 apartments here at a 20% affordable rate. So the affordable, for those that may not thoroughly understand what that means, it can attract young firefighters, pharmacists, people that are moving, that are graduated from college, that have some college debt, and it's based on the area median income. And the rents are subsidized by the state as a result of allowing and helping and facilitating younger professionals, as an example, moving in and establishing their lives and careers in North Haven. 410, this is an 88 apartment complex. This was part of an economic development project that I worked on with the CEO of Connex. We renovated the Connex. We put a branch there in addition to the administrative offices, and 88 apartments went in the back there. This is upcoming. The need for senior housing. 61 Quinnipiac Avenue, 60 units, 55 and over. Down in the Monowee section, construction should start sometime later this year, and that's in back of the old Rite Aid, back in that area near Medtronic. 343 Clintonville Road, this is a development, this is a rendition. This is on the corner of Bassett and Route 22, which is Clintonville Road, and this will be 120 units at 343 Clintonville, and these will be senior apartments, 55 and over, to help ease the burden, because the waiting lists and all these facilities for the senior citizens, there's hundreds of people on the waiting list. And a lot of the seniors are getting frustrated, so we're trying to facilitate this and sort of ease that backlog. 23 Maiden Lane, this will be affordable housing also, and I think this might include some mixed use on the bottom. That's been dormant for years, so this is now going to be revitalized. But now let's get to part 4 of this story. And as many of you know, I spent a lot of time on this, economic development. I'm going to take you through, Renee kind of summarized it earlier. I'd like to take you through a visual tour in terms of where we are. Let's start with the new business registrations. If we look at this going back to 2009, we're now up to 2,972 businesses in town, which is 80 more than there were in town back in 2019. So this look back here, about a 6-year look back, the new numbers in 2025, we'll see even more than that. We don't have those yet, but we're seeing progress, growth, new businesses, and as our Jeff D'Onofrio, my dear friend, said earlier, people want to come to North Haven, businesses and residents. Let's take a look at some of the challenges first, because, ladies and gentlemen, it's never a rosy picture. And sometimes in life, for all of us, if we make things look easy, people think it's easy, but it's not easy. It's tremendously difficult. And some of those challenges include, this is on the corner of Monowies and Quinnipiac Avenue. This has been vacant for decades. This, I hope, we're going to have a solution for this year to try to connect this and its adjacent plaza to renovate that whole area there. It's been a challenge. I'm not happy with it because it's an eyesore. We're in a heavily trafficked area. So we're really refocusing our efforts on this. The former Sips Cafe, 585 Washington Avenue. So I get this all the time. Hey, Mike. Hey, Mr. Frieda, come on. Can't you get this? Can't you get that? But there's always a story behind the story. And here's the backstory. This is being land banked right now. There's a car dealership that bought it. Doesn't want to do anything with it. Has no intention to develop it, or develop it, I should say. They want to put a car dealership there. But there's a problem. There's not enough space for it. The zoning regs require certain space, acreage. So we're sitting here, and this is still vacant. And in the meantime, guess what? I've had 9 different businesses that want to buy this. But the car dealership doesn't want to sell it. So we're still trying to work through that. 100 to 150 Dodge Avenue. This is 48 acres of developable land minus 10 acres and some DEEP issues with some protected species that are there. We mentioned Chris Ulbrich before. He's been another dear partner for us. We're trying to help Chris develop this. This will net out, hopefully, to maybe 30 to 35 acres. We've had a couple of businesses, big businesses that want to go there. It's in the Wharton Brook Industrial Park. This represents a big issue for us in terms of trying to turn this around and develop that gross 48 acres, net, let's say 35 acres. 1000 Universal Drive. You drive by it, you don't even know it's there. It's next to the Nissan dealership there. So we had a Trader Joe's that was looking at this, and you've heard, and Renee's mentioned it, social media. Oh, Mr. Frieda, come on, we need a Trader Joe's, right? Well, here's the reality. We're not getting a Trader Joe's. We're not getting it. And I often say here that economic development reminds me of a song by the Rolling Stones. You can't always get what you want, but you just might find you get something you need. So we're not going to get a Trader Joe's. I'm sorry, all right? It's like my baseball career, right? When I was in slumps, I was striking out 2-3 times a game. But we got to bounce back and never give up another at-bat, like I said here before. Grind it out. And we're grinding out 1000 Universal Drive to see what we can do here. Let's take a look at opportunities now. We mentioned challenges, and now let's talk about opportunities. 102 Middletown Avenue. This has been a bombed out building for years. We finally have someone who is buying it, and you see now the progress in the lower right-hand picture. That will be a 2,400 square foot store. They will have breakfast items and lunch items and do door dashes with Medtronic down there in the Monowies section. So the optics of this, which is sort of a gateway coming in from New Haven into North Haven, that'll be improved. And as everyone knows, optics are so important in business, in government, in education, and even in our own personal brands. We all have a brand. I might talk about that later. So, the former Rite Aid, 85 Middletown Avenue. So you see this word, this Phoenix place. You don't know what it is, but it's like a Dave and Buster's. So this is another dilemma in government. Rite Aid was vacant for 3 years. The reason? Because Rite Aid was paying $7,000 a month, every month, to the landlord. So there was no motivation, none at all, to put a new business in there, despite all the efforts that I put into it. But guess what? Being relentless. We found someone to buy it, to take it off of the people that owned it. Not only did we find someone to buy it, but we now have this business that wants to go in. It's a family entertainment center for children and parents from ages 7 to 16 or 17. with a food component, family and fun type things, and that will be repurposed there this year. This is the former Donato's and Howard Johnson's. Now, we have a developer that wants to put, let me qualify this. It's not final and not official, and it hasn't happened yet. But we're looking to bring in two things. One might be a franchise type restaurant, and another might be a brand new type of, let's say, a Starbucks on steroids, that type of a coffee shop, luncheon place, breakfast shop. So stay tuned to that. Hopefully the next time up here, I'll have an update on that. 200 Valley Service Road, Dominic DiMartino has been a great partner as a developer. Valley Service Road, just so you know, 74.5% roughly is wetlands. It's flood zones. We can't develop it. However, we still can develop about 24% of it. So 200 Valley Service Road will be developed with some new business coming in, and 400 Valley Service Road, working with the Capasso Construction Company, we're going to see a couple of things there. What could it be? Perhaps a lacrosse center, fields for soccer. It could be buildings with contractors coming in. So we're trying to define that and work within the wetlands restrictions that are there. But those are two big projects that this year I'm hoping we have some movement on, 200 and 400 Valley Service Road. On the north side of Amazon, there's 9 acres there. The first step is if you drive by there, you'll see roads, or I'm sorry, the construction equipment there. You see vehicles there, ground being torn up. That'll be a new prototype 7-Eleven. A beautiful building, over 4,000 square feet, all kinds of breakfast and the sandwiches and maybe things into the dinner. Yes, there'll be a gas pump display there. But we get a lot of questions, and I do. Oh, Mike, come on. Another bank, Mike? Another gas station? But these are businesses that are thriving right now. These are businesses that pay taxes. These are businesses that offer amenities. And, you know, I had someone say to me, and I'm out there with everybody. I talk to everybody, and, you know, I try to be respectful, and I always am. And someone said to me, well, you know, Mike, we have a car dealership coming in, and it's a Jaguar dealership. How come we can't get an ice cream shop there? Well, we have an ice cream shop, Dairy Queen, right down the street, not too far. And I think if you look at the advantage of that type of a dealership with the taxes, the jobs that they employ, those service technicians are making over $100,000 a year. These are the businesses that we want. So I spend a lot of time trying to talk to the public about, you know, sometimes what the reality is. This will be new. Gas Burgers, 277 State Street. For those that like vintage formats and nostalgia, this will be a great restaurant with different menu items, and you'd be walking into your past if you like, okay? And a lot of times when we think about our past, they're fond memories, I hope, and sometimes that nostalgia acts as a form of therapy, and I think that's what we're going to see here, people going into that. So we're looking forward to that. I want to talk about Quarry Walk, because I have Tom Haynes here and Kathy Ekstrom. This is the 30 acres of land adjacent to the North Haven High School. This has been a phenomenal success in Oxford. All types of amenities. We have a 30-acre parcel here that Tom owns. Tom and Kathy are working on this. We have our planning and zoning involved, our land use involved, our employees involved. And we can bring a sort of a downtown destination into that area. And I believe that it could be transformative. There could be things like a grocery store there. There will be potentially restaurants there. There'll be hundreds of apartments, market rate rentals there that really helped Oxford there. There could be a healthcare component there. So stay tuned for this, ladies and gentlemen. We already started public meetings on this. We went to Quail Run, the 55 and over community across the street, and I believe we have about 95% of those people that are on board with this concept, with a few that aren't against it, but they still want more information about it. So Tom and Kathy have been great to work with. Google it, Quarry Walk in Oxford, and I think you'll see something that has been transformative for Oxford and something that I believe will be transformative for North Haven, Connecticut. So let's continue here, okay? We see edible arrangements, renovated a corporate store on 101 Washington Avenue. Very successful so far. On a 5-acre parcel on Washington Avenue across from the fairgrounds that was vacant for decades. Now we have Forbes Fuel coming in, 4,000 plus square feet of store, restaurant type stuff. In terms of stuff, I mean amenities. And a new New Haven type pizza that's there also. Pat's Pizza, I guess people really, really like it. Gary mentioned Bugakoos, right? It was one of the grand openings that I went to. They put out a spread that, ladies and gentlemen, you know, I work out every day. I had to do 200 more push-ups than I did 200 in the morning, okay? Because of all the food they served us that day. It was unbelievable what they did. And they want to be here. It's like a national franchise. And so we filled that space there. And it's been very, very successful. These are examples of small businesses, entrepreneurs, young women coming up with this concept, their own dream that they named Doll's Dream. And this is for little girls to come in with their mothers and with makeup, with costumes, and with dressing them up. And when I was there, it was a very, very poignant scene with these little girls and their mothers playing in this doll dream house, dressing up with dresses, being made up, fingernail polish. So I'm very confident that's going to be a success. Eric Colano's Restoration Company. This is off of Powder Meadow Road over there. That's a district now that we've got thriving. A new business has come in. They wanted to be here. Beautiful vans with great branding, and it's been very successful. A smaller business, Five Star Realty. This was a vacant building. This was a former animal hospital there years ago. That's at 101 Quinnipiac Avenue. So now Big Lot goes out, 18,000 square feet, Chapter 11. Because of the relationships we have with these National Plaza owners, we quickly move into action. I really wanted to see if we can put a Trader Joe's in there, but once again, we struck out on that. So we moved forward, right? We got back, put the weighted donut on the back. I'm in the on-deck circle. I'm saying, all right, how are we going to get this? What are we going to do here, okay? So we ended up with Burlington, this coat factory. So right now, it's been very successful. And the goal there was to fill 18,000 square feet. We don't want vacancies in these plazas. This is a brand-new restaurant right around the corner from here, right off of Washington Avenue up there, 630 Washington Avenue. Been very, very successful. Volo, we were there last night. Many of us town employees got invited. This is a sort of a rebranding, and it was unbelievable last night. There's a new chef, a new owner, who is really very committed to North Haven, Connecticut right now. And we went there last night. Many of us were here, some of us were here today. Went last night, we were invited. Jill DiCello did a great job. I'm not sure if she's here today, but that really opened our eyes in terms of this restaurant. And North Haven seems to have a lot of capacity for other restaurants. Thai Yummy Express at 139 Middletown Avenue. If you like this type of food, try it. High reviews right now. A flower shop, a new flower shop wanted to come into play at 536. And we support all these young entrepreneurs who are trying to create a business. So that came in, and we were there, cutting the ribbon there at 536 Washington. This is something new. Wallingford, the lines are out the door on Route 5 North in Wallingford. So we worked with Joe Maruzzi, who owns this plaza here at 117 Washington Avenue. And this business now is there, and we're hoping that it becomes a very successful business like it has been in Wallingford. Stephen Longobardi, another great partner here, 127 Washington Avenue with this new credit union, and that was a big thing here, filling that vacancy, and Stephen, you did a great job with that. Bella V Salon at 45 Quinnipiac, a group of young small business owners who have a dream, and we support that vision, and we support those objectives here in North Haven to help people. Renee mentioned Groundworks. This was one unbelievable addition at 101 Powder Meadow, a building that was bombed out, in decay for years. They came here And this building now is really, and this business has really helped North Haven. Hope after loss. You know, this is another poignant, sort of a melancholy story, okay? We see in our communities, we see the problems that people are faced with. And sometimes, and I try to pride myself on being an empath, to try to absorb people's issues and problems, see how I can help. And this is a business as an example, and I talked about this with Attorney General Tong last week at the AquaTurf as president of COST, that we as people, we as elected officials, we as institutions, educational institutions, we as hospitals, when you find people who have despair and you can somehow make an impact to take despair to create hope, that's a powerful transformation right there of human emotions. But when we collectively have the ability sometimes to take hope and create a positive outcome, that transformation, going from despair to a positive outcome, can be transformative for people from a human emotion standpoint. And this business here is a good example of what I'm talking about there. Now, Mafan is here. Where's this young lady? Is she here? She's still, there she is right there. Here's another young lady with a dream, okay? She's taken over the State Farm operation, the insurance operation, and she is like a young woman filled with charisma and personality. And the people that go to State Farm love her. And she had a dream, and this is her dream, and we support her 1,000%. Papa Scoops, this is an ice cream shop, and this is off of Nick's Char Pit down in the Monowee section, and this is an example of a family business who had Nick's Char Pit for years. They've expanded with an ice cream shop. Speeder's Car Wash, this was a replacement. The car wash, classic car wash, sold the building, sold the land, and Speeder's came in, and this is like, there's 17 of these car washes across the state of Connecticut. And by the way, as Dave Yacarino knows, being at the state level, there are powerful lobbyists on these car wash businesses. So right now they're doing very well. The kitchen company, designing new kitchens. This is at 276 State Street. And Ahmed is here, this fine young man right here. Stand up for a second. Another man with a dream, okay? He had a dream. And he had a dream to start a local pharmacy. And his dream has come true. He's over there at 117 Washington Avenue. He's got a beautiful pharmacy there. We were there with the chamber. He's now in the process of trying to get more prescriptions there. So we thank you for being here, and we want to support your dream, Ahmed, okay? Thank you very much for being here. And this is That Hair Though, okay? And that is a 55 State Street, new business that's there. We were just there the other day, and that was quite nice. This little boy over here is 4 years old, cutest little kid, filled with charisma and personality, and it was, I just enjoyed being there, I really did. Now, I gotta tell you here, okay, so, I gotta tell you. So I stepped out of character here, folks, okay? Now, you may not know, maybe you do. Now, Marie and I share this physical fitness. We have this passion for physical fitness, right? So I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm in the gym every day, every night, pumping iron, lifting weights. I was doing 400 push-ups a day, but now I'm down to 200, okay? I slowed down a little bit on that. So a lot of aerobics, a lot of calisthenics, and a lot of yoga stretches, because my thing has been down through the years, even since from the time I was 19 years old. Strength, flexibility, and endurance. And I like to pride myself on having all of that. But when I walked in here, a different side of me kicked in. I got in there and I said, man, this is my type of operation, right? So you see me here doing I really incorporated this in addition to all these weightlifting exercises, these kettlebell squats. I love them. 50 pounds up, down, and then the swings, this, right? So when I walked in there, I forgot that I was there for a ribbon cutting, and I started working out over there. And guess what? Somebody took the picture, and they put it here, okay? So I want to thank Valerie Goodkin here, because she puts these slide presentations together for us. So let's give her a round of applause for all her hard work, okay? I'm coming to a conclusion, okay? This is the Hampton Inn. We're April 11th, They're taking reservations. This is what it's going to look like. We're happy to have that here in North Haven. So in conclusion, I'd like to offer two things that I feel are the key ingredients to success. And I say that because they've worked for me. I've failed a lot in my life. I know what it's like to struggle growing up, having lost a father at a young age, but I also know what it's like to be very successful, marching through the ranks over an 18-year period to become president and chief executive officer of a billion-dollar company. So the two things I'd like to share with you, I've always tried to stay focused, stay consistent, stay positive, and keep moving forward in a positive, upbeat fashion. And secondly, I think the key to success, we all have intention, but intention is only as good as execution. When we can combine, as people, our intention and connecting intention to execution, defined by getting things done, we can accomplish all of our goals. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you very much. It's been a great pleasure here. My pleasure to be your first selectman. And I'm grateful and I love each and every one. Thank you very much. Okay?
We are going to open the floor for some questions for Mike. Yeah, Mike, I'm putting you on the spot. Not that you can't answer anything on the spot anyways. Does anybody have any questions specific to North Haven or business or any of the development or anything that was discussed here today?
I have a question.
Oh, well, yes.
Hi, Mike.
Is that Ann? How are you, Ann?
Good,
Yes.
how are you?
Good, Andy, good.
So yesterday on my Economic Development Committee call, we had the Commissioner of Housing, and she was going through the parameters of the housing bill. And one of the things she talked about was how the SCROG, which is the South Central Council of Governments, which where Mike represents North Haven, they will be managing sort of a regionalized housing requirements. Can you talk a little bit about that and a little bit about how that impacts North Haven?
So that's a great question, Ann. The Council of Governments, what Annie's referring to, I'm two-time chairman of that Council of Governments, so I'm very actively involved. So visualize a storybook with 15 different chapters. The Council of Governments has 15 different municipalities. So what we're going to be doing is, as a Council of Governments, is we will be populating the storybook, the Council of Governments storybook, with individual objectives on how we're going to handle housing. So in North Haven, as an example, we will have, through keeping local control, some of these apartments that I just talked about, they'll be populated into the Council of Governments, the 120 over there at Clintonville Road, the other apartments that are on the drawing board. So that'll be put into the housing that we have going on in the town moving forward. The Council of Governments will be working with OPM, and I work with OPM also. OPM is interpreting the language on the housing bill, and so we're trying to create, through these Council of Governments, one storybook, if you will, with 15 different chapters that have a profile on each of the 15 cities and towns as to what the housing will look like on a town-by-town basis. So as an example, if we have 300 apartments that are on the drawing board, that'll be in the Council of Governments plan. In terms of, we will submit that to them. And we'll put the locations, we'll put whether it's 20% affordable, 10% affordable, whether it's senior housing. That's kind of what's going on with that, Ann.
Thank you.
Did I answer the question?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Mafan, I saw your hand there. Where is she? There she is, right there.
I don't have a question. Just more of an appreciation, and especially being new to town, coming from Rhode Island, just how you, Mike, has supported me, Steve as well, and Renee and the Chambers. Just more of thanking you all and saying, just not knowing anyone, how you advocate for small businesses, and also my commitment as a State Farm agent. As State Farm, we do know that insurance is going high on cost, so it is something we're aware of, and we're continuing to work on decreasing. So it's more of an appreciation, and I'm happy to be part of this community.
Thanks, Mike, I appreciate it.
There she is. How are you? Mansfield Road, so.
That was a great presentation. My name is Lana Ives. I've known Mike for a little bit of time. The one thing I thought might be missing from your presentation was only because I went to see Vincent Cervoni talk about the condition of Wallingford, the first selectman there. And he had a big presentation about open space. And that's what I think was kind of missing here, was like, what are we going to do about open space? And I'd be happy to help you with that, because now I've been appointed to the Board of Directors for the North Haven Land Trust. As you know, my family's been here since the 1600s, 12, 15 years after the Mayflower, whatever. And they were instrumental about preserving land all over this region. And I'd like to help facilitate that in the town of North Haven.
All right, so let's talk about that for a moment, because Lana and I go back a long way. She was a CEO of her company. In fact, I remember speaking at one of her events down at the New Haven Lawn Club years ago.
New Haven Country Club.
New Haven Country Club, right. So we go back a long way. Open space, we have an open space committee. We appoint an open space person every year from the Board of Finance, okay? We have bought open space down through the years. Sinaway Farms is an example, the farming over on Middletown Avenue. But open space is only as good as if there's land available to be purchased. And right now, through the Open Space Committee, we have nobody that wants to sell the vacant land for open space. When that happens, the way it works is that we then go and bond for the money, borrow the money, we do a blue book appraisal to see what the property is worth. We've done that for years with the acquisitions we have. But the reality now is there's no open space available for sale. The Open Space Committee is looking for that, and the way it works is they present to me with the opportunities, but there's no opportunities right now. So until that happens, we'll move into open space, look to purchase it, but we don't have anything that's available right now.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you. At this
Thank
time,
you.
I'd like to invite Garrett Sheehan, the CEO and President of the Quinnipiac Chamber and the Greater New Haven Chamber, just for some closing remarks. Garrett?
Great. Well, I ran down here because I know people have got to get going, but Mike, great to hear everything that's going on, especially the investment that you make into North Haven, and we love highlighting all of the small businesses. And I note that in every one of those pictures, you had the chamber right there, and that only happens because you're part of that conversation and making sure that the chamber is involved and is a part of the North Haven community. So we really appreciate it. Marie, great seeing you. Thank you for hosting us here at Quinnipiac. I love hearing about the really strong bond and relationship that exists between the university and between North Haven. And thank you to all of you for being here. Supporting business in North Haven is so key for everything that we do at the Quinnipiac Chamber. I want to make sure everyone knows we have our big showcase event, North Haven Showcase and Festival, that we do with the town every year, coming up again in September. Our annual meeting coming up, many more events, so please participate. In fact, actually this afternoon, we have our internship and career fair in New Haven. Quinnipiac University is a part of that, and so many of our businesses. So again, thank you everyone for being here, and thank you, Mike, for everything you do. We appreciate it. Take care.